Assalamu alaikum guys, this is Ahmed Mauer aka Mr. Middlepath. Let me just bring the camera a little bit closer. So I wanted to talk about the Khabib fight, the McGregor fight. A couple days back I went and watched it with a friend. For those of you who are not MMA fans or don't follow it, I mean, I'm not a hardcore fan like that, but I do follow it from time to time. I do keep up with it a little bit, especially Khabib because he's Muslim and I like him. But anyways, I don't want to talk about the fight, I don't want to talk about the analysis, I want to talk about the controversy that happened with the Brawl afterwards, right? And one specific argument that came up was that if someone insults you or talks bad about you, then you should not be able to retaliate physically, or essentially that slander and hurting someone's feelings or defamation, these types of crimes are lesser crimes than the crime of a physical assault. And I will disagree with that for a few reasons. Reason number one is that you can do more damage with your words to someone's life than you can with your fists or with a weapon. I'll give you an example. Let's say that I attack a businessman. I just go see him in the streets and I go fight him and I beat him up. And that's the air condition, guys, so please, don't let that sound bother you. So I go and I beat him up and then he goes to the hospital and I end up going to jail. Now let's say instead of beating him up, I start to slander him. And I tell everyone in the neighborhood that, hey, don't do business with this guy. He's a trashy businessman. He's going to cheat you. He sucks. His products or whatever, they're fake. And I just go around and I start spreading rumors about him. Now, because of me and my slandering and my defamation, he can no longer sell his products. People don't want to buy from him, and he has a much harder time feeding his family and feeding himself and providing for them and providing for himself. So what was more harmful? Me talking bad about him to everyone and ruining his reputation, or me beating him up, in which case he gets better. He gets physically injured, but he gets better over time, versus reputation, which lasts a lifetime. Let's give another example. Another example is a woman. She wants to, get married or whatever, and then I just start saying, yeah, she's not a good person, basically. She'll be likely to cheat on you if you marry her, and she's not someone you can trust, and I just go around slandering her reputation. Now, that's really going to damage her reputation, because no one's going to want to be with her now. And now I'm going to go to a real-life example, because I'm from Egypt, and in Egypt, people can get arrested and tortured for something like protesting, small things, and it sucks. But let's just give the example that I make a rumor about someone in the neighborhood that he's an extremist, right? That rumor can actually cause a lot of problems. It can actually cause someone to get killed. It can actually cause that person to go to jail or his family to go to jail or for him to be tortured. So if he knew that I was starting that rumor, could he go and beat me up in front of everyone and say, stop saying that, it's not true? I'm not going to answer that question. But what I'm going to say is that, yes, slander and defamation and these types of words and these types of statements can do much greater harm than just a physical assault can. So people saying that, oh, well, Khabib should have taken all of the verbal abuse that Conor McGregor was giving him before the fight, and he should have just shook hands after the fight and said, oh, it's okay, or not even shook hands. He should have just ignored him and walked away and been the bigger man and took his belt and gave a nice little speech and left. This is that type of delusional thinking wherein it's not okay to fight for your honor. It's not okay to be upset if someone offends you, or if someone offends you, you're supposed to just take it and walk away. And yes, you can be the bigger man, but it also pays in certain situations to stand up to the bully. In this case, Khabib stood up to the bully in the ring, and he stood up to the bullies outside of the ring when he jumped the fence and he hit the guy. According to a lot of the different sources, and I'll post them in the description, that dude, I think his name was Dylan Danis, was calling Khabib a Muslim rat or a terrorist rat or something like that. And Khabib was being called a Dagestani rat before the fight as well. So, and the word rat, by the way, is used against Muslims. People who hate Islam call Muslims Musrats, right? So he's getting called a rat. He's being made fun of, being called backwards, and his people are being called backwards, and alcohol is being put in his face, like, drink up, why won't you drink up, huh? And then he calls him a backward, and then he actually uses explicit language to make fun of him, right? Like cussing him out, cussing out his family, then bringing up certain shady connections that his family has, and we don't know what situation Khabib is in. Does he want to be in with these guys? Will he get killed if he turns his back on these guys? Are they his legit friends, or is it just something that he has to do because that's just the political environment that he grows up in, and if he turns his back on these people, he'll get killed? And Conor McGregor is a hypocrite himself, because he has his own shady past with Irish mafia and Irish mobsters, and I'll post a link to the description as well. Like, these families are into feuds with other drug dealing families and have killed each other, and Conor is seen taking in pictures with criminals, literally. People who are drug dealers and people who have alleged murders on their record. Crime families and so on. So Conor McGregor has his own shady connections. Now, whether we should bring that up in the pre-fight interview is up for debate. But that doesn't matter. What I'm talking about specifically is it okay for Khabib to jump the fence and hit the guy? A lot of people are saying no, and I think that is a little hypocritical considering everything that Conor did up to the fight that was not punished and that was not called out on. Another thing that really surprised me was the hypocrisy of Muslims themselves saying, oh, Khabib shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have jumped over the ring. This is going to hurt our dawah. This is going to make us look bad, And this is the type of soft thinking that I don't like coming from Muslims, when they only care about what the West thinks about them, and it really doesn't matter what anyone thinks about you. You can never make anyone happy. You can make some people happy. I mean, you can never make everyone happy. So you might as well do the right thing. Now, whether it was the right thing for Khabib to jump the fence and do that, I cannot say morally or ethically it was the right thing, because there were people in the crowd. People could have got hurt. Riots did start. Not riots, but like fights did start. Amongst the fans and stuff like that. So, I cannot comment to say that that was ethically correct, but I can say that I personally was very happy that Khabib did it. He stood up to them. Maybe it was, what's the word I'm looking for? Reckless, but it should be overlooked because Khabib has never done that before. He has never done this type of behavior before. He's always shown respect to his opponents before fighting and after fighting. He's always shown respect to his opponents. This was him being pushed over the edge like any other human being because of disrespect that was shown to him. And my point is that it should not be okay. Just like if someone wants to say it's not okay for him to jump the fence, it was also not okay for McGregor to show this type of disrespect and for it to be allowed to be shown. I mean, he threw that dolly through the through the bus, broke glass, injured people. People went to the hospital. One of the fighters can't even fight anymore because of the injury that they sustained to their eye. And I can post a link to that too. But they used that video clip of him smashing the glass. They used that to promote the fight instead of punishing him for it. And yes, he did pay some fines, and he like, these are token punishments. I'm talking about the media did not say anything bad about Conor for him doing that, even though he got fined a little bit. So again, this is a lot of hypocrisy. The fight between Khabib and Conor was actually very symbolic of what's going on in the real world today, if you guys know what I mean. That's it, guys. That's the video. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Take care. Peace out. Assalamu alaikum.